Hey, it's Dakielty again, and once again I'm going to be using Paulette Slater's papers to make dangles. So, what is this mess, right? So one of the tricks that you can use to making dangles, and there's different kinds of dangles to make, is to use old jewelry. So I have old jewelry here. This is some examples of some dangles and things, and I'm just going to play. Okay, so let me show you these a little closer. So these are word dangles. I'll try and find the link to the person we first saw doing this, but I think these are so clever little dangles to play. Okay, here's one that was made that I got in a Happy Mail. So they can be different sizes, as you can see. This is just a tab that I put together out of some of the spring blue paper. These are just jewelry that have been put on paper clips. So this one would clip on to your journal. The small one would go on. And there is the dangles. Okay? So that's one way, just hooking them on those. Here's some pieces of jewelry. So let's just have at it, shall we? I'm going to start with these stacked word dangles. And as you can see here, I have cut out some cardstock. Now this is just some leftovers from a manila folder I used for something. And so what I have done on these, they can be cut so that they're the same width. In this case, I made them each a little wider and a little shorter. Can you see that? Okay, so they don't have to be word dangles. They just make really cute dangles the way they are. And so let's start with that. This is some more of the papers from the Blue Spring kit. Okay, as you can see, this is a little bit longer, so I'm probably just going to cut it off. And it's also not quite wide enough to cover this. So let's just take a book page, and I am going to take this and wrap it with the book page. Okay, so we'll start out by covering this. We'll start with just covering one side, and we'll put it on this. I'm going to kind of center it. I like those the columns. I think they're cool. Okay, and then we're going to be wrapping it like this and like this. And then this one I'm just going to tear along here. Get a little bit more along the edge, and I'm going to fold it over. Okay? Now, we'll leave this side as the back plain. It's not going to be decorated, but because we're going to be decorating the front, we'll put that over the seam to hide the seam. Just tearing these, get them closer to the right size. Okay, and now let's real quick cut this out. I think in this case, because I've wrapped this with the book paper, I am also going to wrap this around so you'll get this tiny little piece of the blue label showing around, if I do it right, the top and the bottom. Okay, so we're going to, this will go here. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and just sand off these edges to make them flush. I was debating leaving the torn edges, but since I'm going to wrap this, I think I'm going to just make it nice and smooth. Okay, so here we have it. In this case, I will put the glue on this blue label and try and get lots and lots of glue. One thing about using glue stick, you do need to put a lot of glue on. Okay, so here's the seam side. Try and get that centered. Okay, so now that makes a pretty design, and this wraps over on the back. Now we're going to kind of do the same thing with the next one. In this case, I'm going to tear it a little bit first. Okay, let's start by now there's nothing that says these all have to be the same. You can use different blue papers, for example. You could also use circles, different size circles to stack up to make these dangles. That would be really adorable. Go. Okay, we'll take this and we'll wrap this around again into this. Because I have glue on this, it was sticking to my fingers, and so tearing it up kind of solved that problem. Okay, there we go. And here is, this is actually the same size. Now, of course, these labels all by themselves would be great things to put as part of your collages, or put them on pockets, or on journal cards. Sometimes I like to, on the back where I have lines or graph paper or something for journaling, I like to put just a little trim at the top. You could also take these and just put it at the top of a blank page if you wanted to have a lot of writing space. So you could do that either with a sheet that you tuck into a pocket, or you could do it with a just a page of the journal itself. Okay, let's back this way. Take it off. I used to be an engineer once upon a time, and so all these chemical things may be more interesting to me than they are to other people, although my sister, who's never been an engineer, also says she likes them. But I just like the effect of the numbers. So this one will wrap around a little bit more. You'll get more of that wraparound effect. Let's see. Let's try and get it straight, shall we? What a concept. Okay, so now this size has just a little bit of the blue showing on the back. Okay, and then our third one, this is a smaller label with the same design on it. Now, these are word labels. One of the Tim Holtz sheets of the labels and stuff that you can get either black or white, that is a super source of little sayings and things that you can put on these. You can type up your own using using your computer or a typewriter if you have one, and that's a fun way of doing it. And you can just cut words out of books. You know, maybe you find a phrase, or, you know, Edith Holden's books have lovely poems in them. And you could use a saying from one of the poems, and that would be a lovely thing to put on these dangles and stuff. I like to use positive sayings a lot of times. What happens, you know, I like to fill my journals with positive sayings and positive things. It really, I think stumbling on just positive words or positive quotes can just be uplifting. So when you have those found, it can be a lot of fun to use those. So I'm doing the same thing here as I did last time. Glue on my fingers too. So now we'll put this around. I actually, because this is thinner as well as shorter, I probably should have trimmed that one edge, but it's fine. It is what it is. Okay, where is the bottom of this? Okay. Now, one of the reasons to use the sandpaper to take the edge off is because it softens the edge, and then when you go and ink it, if you ink, it absorbs the ink better, so it makes it a really nice that. But it also just sort of brings, softens the card stock or whatever you have, the glue, and brings them together a little bit. Okay, so now let's put the glue on this. Now, I'm cutting these out fast and a little bit sloppily, and I'm aware of that. I would often ink these. I'm just not taking the time to do that, and honestly, they're kind of cute the way they are. Okay, so now you have these three, and as you can see, they kind of, as they dangle there, they're kind of a nice border. And let's find some sayings to put on these. Now, once again, the sayings don't have to be the same. Once again, I'm using these words and phrases that I have already glued to this background paper, so I can tear off. I am going to pull some blue ink out here. Okay, and these, because there is a background, I'm going to cut them with just a little bit of this showing. And especially since this label was put on crooked, we'll take a little bit of this blue and go along the edge. This is what happens when you do this a little bit fast and you don't have enough glue, is if it comes off a little bit. Now I'll come through with Fabrifix on this and just trim it up a little bit. But for now, we're just going to glue it on, and we're going to make sure there is plenty of glue on this time. Well, forget. Let's see. Plenty of glue, which is all stuck to my fingers. Now, another thing that you can do if you've got washi tape that has words on it, you can use that for them. You can even use words cut out of fabric for them. Okay? Now, I want one a little bit shorter than this one was. There we go. We'll use the Stay Positive. For this one. Ink around the edges of that. Stay Positive. And on this one, I'm going to just put this word wonder. I like this. Cutting it off the sheet very quickly. And I'm going to move this down a little bit like this. And then let's just take, I printed out some really, really teeny, tiny pictures from Paulette's. And we'll just put this butterfly right up here at the top. Okay? Oh. I downloaded Microsoft 11 and it came with a new printer driver, and I am really having trouble getting my printer to act the way it used to act, and to learn the new ways that it acts. Okay? So I want these words to be pointing the same direction. Okay? I'm going to take my Wonder Crocodile. Now, you can put like grommets or something in here if you'd like. I have quite a few layers here, and I think that that's going to help reinforce what's happening with these. So I'm going to just let them go with just the holes. Now, I'm going to put these on a bulb pin. if you don't have bulb pins, you can use just safety pins or whatever else you have. Whoops. And on these, I'm going to add a little bead here. These came off of a necklace. These are rolled paper beads, which I think are really, really pretty. And so just adding a bead on the front of this, and now pinning them together. So there you have word dangles. And for the cardstock for the background, you know, you really can use anything. You could actually put labels on them. You can use leftover cards that you've received. Just cut them out of here. They can be, as you saw in the other examples I had, pretty small. Okay, mine starts at a little over 4 inches for the longest one. This one is the longest one is 2.5 inches. And the way she cut these into banners, I think that's really cute too. Okay, so you could do that as well. So there's one. This is just an envelope or packing material cut up to be used. I think that's a darling idea. All right, the next one is making a dangle to go on a tab. So in this case, I am going to put a grommet on this. So what I've done is I didn't print this on cardstock, so I've glued it onto a heavier paper, and I cut out 2 of them and put them back to back. Now a tab like this would not have to be on both sides. I just was playing with it, and that's what I did. Now we're going to cut the hole here. This will be where we'll have the dangle put down. And again, you can put a word here. You could put a little bit of a design. You can collage on this to add up more. But for now, I'm just going to work on putting this in. Now, the reason all this jewelry is out here is because old jewelry like this can be really pretty turned into dangles. So, you know, you can take I lose one earring all the time, so I often have this. Also, I love this bracelet, this vintage bracelet, but these could also be opened up and made into a dangle. So, let's get the grommet put it in. Here's just a silver one. And again, this is just really to reinforce this. Because of my arthritic hands, I sometimes have trouble putting this in 2 hands. Oh, look at it, worked great. Okay, now, the easiest way to do this is simply to, if you have one that the holes are intact, then it can just be put through a ring or a chain or something and hung from it. Or if you want, you can create something. Now, whatever you do has to be big enough to go through here. So this is let's do this. Okay, here's a piece of a eyelet bottom jewelry finding. I can't think of the name of it right now. So we can start with that, and I'll use some of these blue beads, and we're going to just put a mixture of blue and white beads on this. So this is probably the simplest way. I do make jewelry, so I have all this stuff. But if you don't, then you want to use, whatever you have. Needle nose pliers, jewelry that already has circles on it. And if you get the pin with just a flat edge, then you don't even have a bottom that shows here. Or you can just take bend this. This is the way you make a circle for a eyelet, but you also can just bend it around into a coil at the bottom and have that be a little decorative bottom that you have on there. Okay, so I can take this and then put it on my bulb pin again. And put it through this. And now you have the simplest dangle. So when you put your journal together, and I probably will add it to this journal here, like this envelope journal, if you add it onto possibly, I really feel this full. You can add it onto a page here, glue it on here, like so, and then you have a dangle that dangles off the side of the journal, which I think is very pretty. Okay, now, you can also take old jewelry. So here is a earring that I used to wear. And we are going to open up this here. Okay. And just by adding that to a bulb clip, bulb pin, now you have a nice addition to your, to the side of your journal. This could hang on the front. It doesn't match this journal, but it could hang right here in the front. You could attach it to a spine. It could pin into the lace at the side here for a side dangle. Anything you want, okay? And this, if it was taken apart, I think that I would leave, here, let's just do it. Okay, I am going to twist this back around. No, I did a lousy job, didn't I? There. Like that. Okay. Flatten it, put it back together. Open this up. You could add one of these to the bottom, Okay? And now we're going to put that on a bulb clip. It could be on a paper clip, whatever you want. So there we do. There we have another very simple, using up old jewelry and scraps addition. These earrings that have the straight pin that goes through, all you have to do is take the back and curl it around, and now you can add that onto a pin or a safety pin or a paper clip or whatever you want to make a dangle from your journal. Okay, that's it. I appreciate you spending some time with me, and we will, I'll be back again. Once again,